Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on another transmission related project on the back of the Corvette. This is more the differential side with the cooling aspect to it. And in the transmission jack video, you guys know that I mentioned that I had dropped the transmission. And what had happened was the transmission and diff were not centered properly on my taller diff, and what happened was I was wheeling the transmission out of the third bay into the main bay. It caught one of the cracks in the pavement, and it just went right over. So hence why we ended up buying the new transmission jack right here. I'll have a link to that video in the description above. And so we ended up causing a little bit of damage to the Corvette transmission, the Z06 unit. But luckily, I'm kind of a bit of a parts hoarder, and this won't cost us anything to fix. Alright guys, as you can see, what happened was when I dropped the trans, landed right on this transmission cooler. As you guys can see, I'll try to move the light around. See how there's another axis on the bend? That is actually a dent right here. This whole part's dented, and what happened was the bottom of the transmission cooler, see if we can get a shot of that. Bottom of the transmission cooler cracked open. Oh, it's right there. Right at the end of the pipe, it cracked open right there. And I think it cracked open on the bottom as well, but the subframe's kind of in the way. So about a year ago, you guys will remember that I tried to buy a Z06 diff, put in the car, just to bolt it to the transmission that I had. Well, long story short, the differential that they sent had a cracked case. I ended up having to replace the case. I'll have a link in that description above. And I end up needing to basically buy a whole new transmission and a whole new diff, because it just worked out that way. So I have had that diff sitting around for the last year, just been sitting on the shelf. And you guys will see on this unit is dented in that same spot. So I have two broken differential coolers. This one actually may not be punctured all the way, but it's close. So as I just showed you guys, I have two broken differential coolers. That one I've known about. Obviously, it's been sitting on my spare diff for the last year, and the one that we just broke when the transmission fell over. So about a year ago, I knew I had that cracked diff cooler, and I was like, well, in part of that process, I was going to replace that diff cooler, replace the diff case. And I bought all the parts, but I ended up just buying a whole new transaxle out of a Z06. Had everything, all the parts were in mint condition. So that's what's on the car, is what came with that new transmission and diff package. So, I had already bought parts for that, I just never got around to installing them. So what we have here is the purpose of this video, is a 2011 Corvette ZR1 Diff Cooler. Now the car that this got pulled from had approximately 20,000 miles on it when it got wrecked, and I bought this diff cooler for $40 shipped, and it actually came with two cooling lines. I'm not really sure where those are, somewhere in the shop, but this is off a 2011 like the marking shows. But as you guys know, the coolers, they changed them up over the years. Everything up until 09 would bolt onto this car, would bolt onto this transmission. But 09 and later will not work, because they actually changed the shape of this. If you guys look, this diff cooler has, so this is how it's going to sit on the car, two of these external lines coming in, and they've got the little E-clips that you put in. But on the back side, on the Z06, on the older style, it comes out and it goes straight down. So when that 90-degree fitting went down, it went approximately like that. This would go into the cooler, this would go into the differential back housing, and so this line's different. So to make this ZR1 Diff Cooler work on my Z06 unit, we had to go buy this little piece. I think this little pipe was like less than $10. I'll have to find the part number and include that in the description below. But basically this will allow us to bolt up the ZR1 Diff Cooler onto my 06 to 08 style Z06 unit. And there's no real upgrade here. The only reason we're swapping to the ZR1 unit is simply because the parts that I have. I've had this cooler, like I said, I spent $40 on it. From GM, I believe this is $300. Yeah, that sounds about right. It was something stupid like $300 or $400 for this diff cooler, and the part number is 159-1001-2. And yeah, it was several $100s, and when I started pricing out the parts to fix that diff, you know, the piping, this cooler was gonna be like almost $500. Found it for $40 online. So I knew that the plumbing was a little bit different, but I figured we can make it work, and with this little pipe, we should be able to make this work. Alright guys, we got the smashed up unit out. You can really see how far this end got smashed. This was supposed to be, you know, 90 going straight that way, so that got crushed a good almost 45 degrees. And even look at the back. This pipe right here should be straight. And as you guys can see, that got smashed too. You got, you know, supposed to be straight up and down. It got bent inward and down. This one got all screwed up. And I would say this one looks fine, the 90 down. So like I was saying earlier, you guys can see how this fitting on the Z06 unit in my right hand is 90 degrees down, going straight down. And this ZR1 unit, as you guys can see, it goes straight, you know, toward the transmission. So, like I said, this is pretty simple to get out. It's 3 10mm bolts, 1, 2, 3 at the top. Pull the 2 or 3 E-clips. There's 1, 2, 3. The Z06 should be the same. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 E-clips. Pull that out, and you should be good. You actually need to remove this from the back of the diff cooler. Put the new hose in, going from here to the cooler, as well as reconnect the transmission lines. Also guys, one thing to make note, I did bend this line. I already actually have a new one here that I'd bought part of my rebuilding of the old diff and trans. I already have a new one, so we literally will not have to buy any new pieces for this replacement / ZR1 unit upgrade. I have threaded in by hand the 3 bolts. We're simply just going to tighten them down. Like I said, it's 10mm. Alright guys, as you can see, I have the front line already snapped back in, and I got the E-clip back on. Just want to show you the damage to the back line. Look at that guys, it's not anywhere near the right angle to be going in. So we have a new one of these already ready to go. I'm gonna get that replaced, then we can get started on this back section right here with getting this disconnected and that plugged in. Alright guys, learned a little secret here. Before you put your bolts on for the diff cooler, put the pipe in on the bottom of the differential cooler, and then put your E-clip in. This way you can still turn a little bit. So line up your cooler up top here in the back, line it up in the front, push everything in, and then put your 3 10mm bolts in, tighten everything back down. That's like the big secret that I just learned. So I had to take all of this back apart. I had to take all the bolts out, re-put everything back in, and that's just something that I try to give you with if you're doing this ZR1 Diff Cooler upgrade. Alright guys, here is the replacement pipe that I need. You guys don't particularly need this pipe, but I already had it in stock. As like I said previously, we were trying to fix this before we got the whole new assembly for the different trans, and didn't end up needing these parts. Well, lo and behold, a year later, I ended up needing it. Like I'm pointing to in the back, I already have, this is the pipe that's damaged. I tried to bend it a little bit, but it wasn't going to go anywhere. So since I already have this pipe, we might as well use it. For your information, it's part number 25775094, and all we got to do is disconnect it from the front of the transmission, and it hooks up to the very front. Plug this in, put the E-clips in, and be good to go. Alright guys, there you go. That is the completed swap. I just got the new line in, I put it up front part of the transmission, put this line in, put the E-clip in, well, snapped it in, make sure it snapped, clicked, put the E-clip in. We got the new lower pipe on, push that and E-clipped it. And then, like I said, before you put this all together, make sure you fit this piping into the back of the ZR1 Diff Cooler, and you'll be good to go. Then hook everything else up. Put your 3 10mm bolts in to secure the cooler to the diff case and the transmission, and you're good to go. And there you go, guys. That's how you install the newer 2009 Plus ZR1 differential cooler onto your Z06 or whatever else you have. Basically, if you guys have the older transmission, you destroy the cooler. You guys can upgrade. Well, it's not really an upgrade. It's just the same part. Change the little piping part around. You install the newer stuff, the 09 and Plus C6 differential coolers onto your 06 to 08 Z06 diff. Yeah, I think that would have been those model years. Yeah, that would have been the only way you could hook this up, is if you have a Z06, you destroy the cooler, you can kind of retrofit the newer stuff onto your Z06 unit. So that hopefully helps you out if you guys end up in a situation like me where you destroy your Z06 stuff, you have the newer stuff, and it's probably more readily available because it was available for more years, and you can go ahead and retrofit it. Like I said, you got to change that one plumbing piece, and you're good to go. So, and for me, I had all of these parts, didn't have to buy anything, so kind of a good thing. I'm a bit of a hoarder, like I said earlier. I actually had a few of these pieces for sale on eBay, but they never sold, so I just took them out of my inventory, stuck them on the car, and we're good to go. Well, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Also, if you want to know when I upload new content, hit that bell notification button down below. Also, if you want to help support the channel, click all those links down below. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.